What's up, lore masters? Due to how popular lore theories are, and specific requests to look at this one, I've decided that I'd address a conspiracy theory that is gaining some traction. That theory is, did Sybok attempt a cultural coup and overthrow of the Vulcan government in an attempt to revert all of Vulcan back to embracing emotion? First, let's take a look at Sybok himself. We can't be sure exactly when Sybok was born. That said, there are theories that place Spock's birth at about 2230, and this would mean that, most likely, Sybok was born in 2224. So, this is basically a theory of when he was born, and basically that's solid tight evidence for Trek continuity. The half-brother of Spock, Sybok was considered to be one of the most prolific Vulcans of his era. Highly intelligent, it was presumed that he would be a great Vulcan scholar. Honestly, I was kind of surprised when I looked into Sybok's history. For me, he comes off as a tragic hero. When Sybok's mother died, he was raised as a half-brother to Spock, and ultimately he lost his way when he began receiving visions from what he believed to be God. Unfortunately, these visions weren't from God, but a hostile alien. The visions completely derailed him, and he began looking into the ancient teachings and religions of his own people. Sybok would once again embrace emotion and become religious. He came to believe that the Shakari, basically Eden, was real. This turned him into a brainwashing villain that halted peace talks between the Klingons, Romulans, and Federation in order to lure a ship out for him to commandeer. He then took the commandeered ship and put all of the lives of the crew and the diplomats in danger by commencing what most people thought was a suicide mission. And you thought the hatred of religion started with the Next Generation. However, the events of Star Trek V are outside the purview of this theory, though I may take a look at them at a later time. For now, let's focus on what occurred on Vulcan. Now, as discussed, we know that Sybok embraced emotion and again became religious. In Vulcan mythology, it is stated that all of creation began at the previously mentioned Shakari. This is presumably where God was thought to reside for the Vulcans. Though, again, in Star Trek V, we're led to believe that this planet was also Eden and whatever the Romulan version of it was. So basically, all of the creation myths would have come from this within the Star Trek realm. And I'm going to go ahead and say it. When I say creation myths, I don't mean that creation didn't exist or there isn't a religion or there isn't a true God. We're talking about within Star Trek itself, so calm down in the comments section. Sybok was banished from Vulcan due to his attempt to, let's say, encourage others to believe the same as him and embrace their emotion, and again, forego logic. However, I do wonder that when Spock states that, Sybok was encouraging Vulcans, that he really means the type of mind manipulation we see in Star Trek V, basically outright brainwashing. Let's talk about that a moment. First, the Vulcan Mind-Meld is one of the most powerful and terrifying abilities that can be used. We know the capability can be utilized to control others. We see this even through walls like we see in A Taste for Armageddon. The knowledge can even be ripped out of someone's skull like we see in Undiscovered Country, and also, you can even implant a command that even the victim doesn't realize is being implemented, like in A Mirror Darkly. In fact, it is the latter that I believe Sybok was doing, that he was implanting something into the subconscious of his victims and stating that he took away their pain. It's really hard to believe otherwise, that this was just a simple ability, that you're freeing a person of their biggest regret, and that would turn them into basically sycophants that would serve you. That they would turn against someone that they had served under for decades, had put their lives on the line, had disobeyed orders for, had bled with. And yet, here we are. It is more than likely this was not simply removing someone's pain. So if this ability was used on others, why wouldn't he try to use it on Vulcans? In fact, we have evidence that there even existed a group of Vulcans that would have willingly embraced this path known as the Vatosh Katur. Translated literally into Vulcans without logic, this cult embraced this type of ideology, though their opinions on it would range from an outright rejection of logic to learning to utilize both at the same time. In fact, we see in the Star Trek Enterprise episode Fusion that a Vulcan does something similar to Sybok. He utilizes a mind meld in an attempt to force another Vulcan into the fold. So, it's entirely possible that Sybok, realizing and recognizing the need for emotion to learn self-knowledge, found out about the Vatosh Katur, recognized their methods, and began releasing the pain of other Vulcans. He would turn them to his cause. This honestly to me would fit much more with the term coined by Spock, who uses precise wording when he talks when he describes Sybok as a revolutionary. He used the term revolutionary other than just saying he was a man with different ideals. And I know, some forms of revolutionary can be peaceful, but obviously some forms are not. Also, while I don't think it's out of the realm of reason that the Vulcans may banish someone simply for having wrongthink, it seems more likely that Sybok would have been thrown out for such attempts. If I know YouTube comments, and God help me I do, there are probably a few people right now commenting about how Spock didn't mention this and how it'd be a really big deal. However, for the same reasons that Spock never mentioned he had a brother, he'd most likely not discuss how that brother also attempted basically a coup d'etat. Ultimately, I know that this is flimsy and there's not enough information at all, but it is a theory I found interesting. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. If you've gotten this far, then you know that I have been having troubles with CBS. If you want to see the channel continue, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/Lore Reloaded. I want to thank you so much for your support. This entire channel is fan-funded. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to see you on the next Lore Reloaded.